Streaming, Sharing, Stealing by Michael Smith and Rahul Telang. Welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, because I don't want to do it alone. Who doesn't want to make self-growth normal? And make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps with ranking and SEO and all this other stuff, and I really appreciate it because so much work goes into making these videos. You'd be surprised. A lot of work really goes into making these videos. This is a conceptually clever one. It's about the future of the entertainment industries. And I'm gonna say quickly my reasoning behind what I value in this book. If you don't really care about that, you just want to hear my thoughts on it, feel free to skip to where it says on my breast area at this very moment. Personally, I was a self-produced rapper and singer for 3 years. My music can be found on my channel and my beats in these videos. I like to think big. Like, big. I know lots of rappers get into music because of, there's a lot of money. I was actually very passionate about it. I still am, but I stopped because I felt that there wasn't enough money. And this was before I saw any really any monetary results. But the thing is, I was looking at net worths and revenues from concerts and tours and streaming and all this other stuff. Everyone from like Travis Scott and Migos to like Jay-Z and Dr. Dre. And even the last two I just mentioned, even their entrepreneurial ventures, I was still unimpressed. At the same time, good for them. I mean, they're doing things no one else is really doing, and they're changing a lot of things. But like, again, the more I began to decide that I was more inspired, and still am, by giant megalithic companies like Amazon and Apple and Google than I am even kind of by guys like Dr. Dre and Jay-Z. Musically and lyrically speaking. I'm just saying this because the future of entertainment, this is the reason it's so fascinating to me. I mean, I'm very pessimistic about it, probably, clearly. But this book, in my opinion, it looks a little more objectively, maybe a little optimistically toward the subject. And even if I disagree with the motive, I guess, behind the book, despite my respect for its positive spirit, I really do appreciate that. It's great, in my opinion, to have more, perhaps dispassionate opinions on hand when you're educating yourself over on dynamics of different industries over extended time periods. There are 3 parts, and conceptually they each highlight using the name and lyric from a different song, or I think movie or TV show from the last half century, that can be used contextually to describe what the individual part is about. So in this review, I'll talk briefly about each part. Part 1 is Good Times, Bad Times. It's about what's currently happening to the industries of entertainment, and what's happening to them now is, as time passes, I think Wired co-founder Kevin Kelly says that, and I love this so much, nouns are turning into verbs. So songs are turning into listening sessions. Everything's turning into, I guess a gerund is like a kind of verb. A gerund is like any sort of verb that ends in ing. So it's turning, songs are turning into listening sessions, or albums are. Physical is becoming digital, and digital is being borrowed instead of owned. And all these products are turning into services, like Airbnb, Uber, and DoorDash. And that doesn't even have to do with entertainment. But entertainment, plenty of examples can be presented there too. The other talks about, in streaming, what they've done about this in entertainment over the years to kind of compensate for it, literally pay off the major companies that have come out on top, but also how the middleman is kind of being slaughtered here with services like CD Baby and DistroKid, where the artists can distribute their own music for a couple bucks instead of the original necessity of needing a record label behind your back and investors and stuff. There's just music, but there's also books and movies and TV shows. He quoted an essay, I think, saying that information wants to be free, information also wants to be expensive. Information wants to be free because it has become so easy to copy, distribute, and recombine, and too cheap to meter. It wants to be expensive because it can be immeasurably valuable to the recipient. That tension will not go away. It's argued in the next part, Changes, that a perfect storm of technological change is altering the sources of power and profit in the entertainment industries. The viability of long-tail markets. Long tail kind of means lasting the test of time. As the length of the tail increases, the width of it decreases. The length of the tail is time, and the more of it goes by, the width of the tail exponentially decreases. The width of the tail is markets are dominators, and that'll just exponentially seriously fall off in terms of quantity because of over saturation and then someone new has to come who like completely reinvents the whole thing, and then they create like a new long tail, and it's all this other, it's really complicated, okay? Digital piracy, a host of new production and distribution options for artists, the rise of downstream distributors, and the ability to control big data of these distributors. These things have all found ways to shift power away from the firms that control content and toward the firms that control customers. We face two major things here as artists. I mean, someday I'd like to get back to music again. I really miss it. I do miss it a lot, but only making it, not the industry. I don't really even believe the industry exists anymore. Kind of like the middle class. But again, this is another reason I quit music. The actual model is getting worse and less profitable as time passes, per the long tail effect and a lot of other things that are actually kind of talked about in the book. But one is being able to sustain a sort of industry structure throughout all the turmoil here. And two is a lack of access, and this is really important for any artist or anything who's watching this video right now. It's a lack of access to the type of data that's actually extremely profitable, because that's the data that these firms are holding so much of it. They're holding so much of this data from us that's allegedly what they base their decisions on, as opposed to just gut instinct. Because you can't run Apple or Google or Spotify or Netflix or Amazon. I learned at the levels they're at that you cannot run those companies by simply making gut instincts. You have to look at and analyze the data. But how to deal with these problems, the author talks about in the third part of the book. A new home. They say it won't be easy, but it'll be necessary. I like how they didn't say possible. They said necessary. But you know what the craziest thing I like learned straight up from this book? Probably that a customer's purchase history can help you increase your profit 12.5 times. 12.5 times more than simply the demographics like age and area. That may sound like, you know, well, that's common sense, Sam. I mean, it may sound like it makes sense, but have you ever thought about that? I hadn't. But I think the reason why is that I never had a purchase history per customer, at least on a large enough scale that I can be like, okay, this is how I'm gonna get more out of this person by giving more and actually knowing what they want. Based on that, like what time and place and everything. Like, think of it, if you had that, you could probably answer the question every online retailer has all the time. Why are you on this page right now? Because you can't just do that with age and area demographics. You seriously can. Something else I learned is that, you know, yes, there's this whole thing with Apple has a bunch of really successful retail stores, and people know about their success in brick and mortar, but they don't know about all the different data analysis that went into optimizing it and making it so unique that when you go there, it just looks like this cool place where people socialize and learn and have fun and happily spend ridiculous amounts of money all at the same time. There's absolutely no retail experience like it at all. And the social aspect of it is what these people propose we create for ourselves and, you know, our customers per se. I try to treat my videos nowadays like conversations. I try to think of it in terms of, you know, some report, my relationship with the viewer. I try to see if I can learn about them literally just by making videos. But I think the authors think that we should do something like, kind of like that. There's that and a few other things, but I think that as independent artists, we have to kind of treat ourselves like microeconomic versions of larger companies. But you know what the funniest thing is about this? Larger companies don't make original content until they build themselves to the point where they can effortlessly afford to do so. Quotes. Meteorologists see perfection in strange things, and the missing of 3 completely different weather systems to form a 100-year event is one of them. The worst thing for book publishers would be for Amazon to go away. The second worst thing would be for it to become more dominant. Data can only tell you what people liked before, not what they know they will like in the future. Get closer than ever to your customers, so close that you can tell them what they need way before they even realize it themselves. Direction 1. I don't know how I feel about the actual usefulness of the info in this book. Like, I feel like it's more likely to give you the things to understand than use. Like, if you are looking for a strategy on how to succeed as an artist or something in 2019, I don't really recommend this. In fact, but I do recommend, if you're an artist, quitting and finding something more lucrative, especially if you like that something, or you like the idea of liking it. And by the way, if you replace like with love, of what I just said, that's even better. And again, the reason is that music is just a shrinking industry. It's dying a horrible, painful death. People have seen this coming since like Napster. I don't even know when that was. I think it was like the beginning of the century. But it's getting really bad. And relying on someone else to come up with a solution for it, I don't know, I don't think it's worth it. So I really recommend this book for anyone who is curious about what has happened to the entertainment industries and what's kind of threatening them, and what surrounds that threat and what are the implications of it. Direction 2. If you like this book, I recommend checking out Free by Chris Anderson, The Long Tail by Chris Anderson, also of course, The Inevitable by Kevin Kelly, about the 12 technological forces that are shaping our future. Streaming, Sharing, Stealing by Michael Smith and Rahul Telang. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video if you want to check those out as well. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it, but hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't know why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe, but if you have subscribed and you want to turn up just a notch and turn on that little notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere and I'll see you then.